Thank you, Congressman. I probably ought to start off with a little bit of baseball metaphor. I'm not certain I'm speaking last whether I'm the true designated hitter who will hit a home run or if I'm just a sorry pitcher who does not have a good batting average. But I appreciate the opportunity to be here and speak today. I've got a sin I must confess. It goes back to 1994 when my father packed me off to North Carolina State University. And I thought he told me to go get a university diploma. He actually said go get an education. I failed to do that in 4 years of partying. I've spent the rest of my life trying to get educated. And I want to thank Ali for a long phone call earlier this week and then a good session last night as he tried to help me parse this rather complex situation into pieces that a simple soldier could understand. And I think I am beginning to understand it a lot better. But as the Congressman pointed out, I did do a couple of tours in Afghanistan. I was the coalition commander from 2002 to 2003, and then I went back as the International Security Assistance Force, the NATO commander of 2007, 2008. So my experience relative to the regime in Iran comes as an American soldier standing to the east and looking to the west, while most other American soldiers have stood to the west and looked to the east. I have some strong convictions and feelings about what this repressive regime in Iran has done to American and coalition soldiers over the last so many years. I've got firsthand knowledge of seeing certain elements come from Iran across that porous border with Afghanistan. I've got no empirical data to prove what they may or may not have done in Afghanistan, but I believe the data to show what they did against the effort to liberate the people in Iraq, it's clear and plain. So it leaves me with some very strong feelings and some convictions about this regime. And if I might, I'd like to talk to the things I have learned. As I said, I continue to try to get an education. I'm still a student. There is no doubt this is a repressive regime. I know some Iranian Americans. I'm in a business relationship with one, and she makes it very clear to me, nobody supports this regime. The unconscionable rhetoric that has been uttered by this regime over the last so many years troubles me greatly, and it troubles me greatly because I was not born until 1946, but I have made it my business to study and understand how the United States became involved in a conflagration called World War II. And I am reminded of another regime that voiced the same kinds of unconscionable rhetoric in the decade of the 30s, and we sat idly by while it was going on. And we paid a dear price for having not acted when the time was right. It's also my considered opinion that a nuclear weapons-capable Iran with its present government would be a dramatically destabilizing factor for not just the Gulf, but for a greater region. I feel so strongly about this, and many years as a soldier taught me not to blindly follow things. You're obligated to follow your last lawful order first, but you're not obligated to follow blindly anything that's not legitimate and not lawful. So I spent some time last week with a nuclear engineer from a major power company. Said, okay, explain to me how we get from fissionable weapons-grade material to something that is far more peaceful, and that is the ability to produce power and produce it in a safe way. It was a long dissertation, and if you were to ask me to recite it back to you, there's not any chance I could do that because I'm not a physicist. But I do understand taking plutonium and then somehow mixing it with uranium and eventually going through some other processes and having some things come off. You get some pellets, which are no longer weapons grade, which are no longer harmful. That does not appear to me to be what's going on in Iran today. It appears to me something far more sinister, and I think that we have to take note, not just the United States of America, but all the communities of free nations. It is without question and without doubt in my mind, as it is with many American soldiers, that the Iranian government has not been helpful to the people of Iraq as they pursue a quest for self-determination. Where will it stop? I think our own Secretary of Defense made a speech about a week or two ago that pointed out that it was clear the Iranians are training and organizing a paramilitary force to be used in Syria. It occurs to me that a badly fractured Syria, which is, I think, well within the realm of possibles now, will be almost as destabilizing in this region as a nuclear-armed Iran. Where does it stop? Where do they stop meddling in the affairs of other nations in their immediate area and thereby creating a situation that does indeed pose a strategic security risk to the United States of America? So I come to taking a soldier's view. One, I have respect for who you are and what you're all about. As I told Ali last night, the Willard Hotel is not the place to take your stand. You should be far more forward if you're going to take a stand. I don't advocate that there should be an armed conflict right now in Iran, because I know how difficult replacing that regime by force would be. But I do advocate replacing such a repressive government by plebiscite and popular demand. It would fare far better. It would also set an example for others in the region. So again, I respect and admire what you stand for and what you're trying to do. I am grateful that I could be part of this today, especially with this august body at this table. I appreciate that Ali and others are helpful in the continuing education of one Dan K. McNeill, and I hope I can see you some other place. Thank you.